Hello again everyone and welcome back to the channel. Alrighty, got another story time for you, and as its thumbnail and title suggests, yeah, this is about the time I almost died. But first, you probably have noticed that the name has changed to the channel. It is now Dirkmation, not Vi Lovestein. The reason why the change is Dirkmation, kind of falls in line more with the main channel's name, which is Dirkmez. So I got a theme kind of going on there. And then two, people had difficulty trying to pronounce Vi. I kept getting called V at conventions and stuff. I don't know why, because V would be like V-E-E. I kind of wonder how they would say V if it was V-E-E, if they would say Vi rather than V, because, because of how they're pronouncing it and stuff. But the Vi comes from, like, say, Violet or Violin, or the character Vi in League of Legends. Only one person ever got that right, and it's because they were familiar with League of Legends. Anyway, so, about the time I almost died. Okay, so my family used to have this old van. It was like a 1967 Chevy van. I have no idea what model it was, but this is, what it looked like in this picture here. I like I said, how I found this without knowing the model, I typed in Chevy van 1967 and got this. The one that my parents had one bench seat in the back that was up against the one back wall of the van, and then like mounted onto the ceiling inside the van was a pencil sharpener, and I never really understood what the pencil sharpener was for. It wasn't until I got older to where I asked my dad what was the pencil sharpener inside the van, and he told me it was so that the coaches could sharpen their pencils, because this van had belonged to the CU football team many years ago. This also was a very interesting design with this type of van too. If you've noticed in the thumbnail, the front of the van is completely flat. There is no hood, and there's no like access panel on the floor either to the engine. So you're probably wondering, where's the engine? Is it under the seat? No, it's not under the seat. It is in between the seats. So there is this big housing in between the driver's seat and the passenger seat where the engine was. And then the battery wasn't inside the engine compartment. That was actually in the back, behind the passenger seat, recessed into the floor. Very interesting design they had for this van. I don't know what they were on when they came up with it, but interesting to say the least. Anyways, so how I almost died was my mom was driving the van down South Boulder Road coming downhill, and the door to the van on the passenger side didn't really latch very well, and I wasn't wearing my seatbelt. So what happened was the door started to swing open because it wasn't latched properly, and then my dumb 8-year-old ass decided to grab a hold of the door to try to pull it shut, and the combined downward momentum and the speed pulled me out of my seat, and I'm clinging onto the door with a death grip. It swings all the way open. There was no metal, brace stop thing there to prevent the door from opening completely all the way, being flush with the van. So I hear the doors open flush with the side of the van, and I'm looking through the passenger window of the door through the front windscreen of the van at my mom, screaming my head off, and she's freaking out and stuff and trying to pull me back into the van. And, when she's over on the driver's side, his arms aren't long enough to try to, grab a hold of the door, because he can't grab a hold of the door since it swung all the way open to the front side of the van. So eventually she just finds a safe area where she can pull over, gets out, walks all the way around to the side that I was on, grabs a hold of me, and tries to, pull me off of the door after the van has stopped. And I am not letting go of that door, because, like I said, I had to have a freaking death grip on this door. And she had to kind of jerk on me a couple of times, in order to get me to let go. And eventually I finally did let go, but I was completely frozen stiff. It's holy crap. If I had let go of that door when we were coming down the highway, I probably wouldn't be sitting here telling this story to y'all right now. And yeah, that was just absolutely horrifying, going through that. I mean, this van had other weird quirks about it too, like the brake. The brake worked okay, but when you pressed on the brake, it wouldn't retract back up like it normally does in a normal car. So there's a cord attached to it to, after you braked and let your foot off of the brake, you could pull on this cord and it would pull the brake back up into default position. The other strange thing about this van was the brights switch for the lights. It was on the floor as well. This is a common design in older vehicles like this, where the brights for your headlights was on the floor rather than being on the steering column, which I think actually makes a lot more sense, because that way you're not like fumbling around on your steering column, you know, trying to find your brights when it's on the same switch as like several other things as well, like your wipers and stuff like that. But yeah, that was a very interesting vehicle that my family owned, and last I heard, it ended up being sold to my uncle out in Las Vegas. So it's probably out there somewhere still, if it's still on the roads, that is. I don't know, you know. It's dark blue, so if anybody ever sees a dark blue 1967 van somewhere on the streets of Las Vegas, you know, then that's probably it. Especially if it has one blue driver's seat and one green passenger seat, then yeah, then it would totally be the van. Anyways, so I hope you all enjoyed this video, and sorry it took so long to get this one out. There's just been a lot of crazy things happening in my life lately, especially when it comes to my housing situation. Still not really settled into a place that I can call my own room. I mean, as you know, because of my income, I have to live with other people, preferably friends or family, and split rental costs, because apartments where I live are just outrageously expensive, and apartments suck anyways. But there you go. Well, this has been Vi, Dorkmation actually now, but you know the drill. Fan art is always accepted. I might actually just open up a Discord for it so you can dump the fan art in there rather than me having to scour the interwebs on all the social media platforms trying to find stuff that pertains to the channel. If you'd like to have a Discord opened up, let me know in the comments and I'll try to make that happen. As always, have a good one out there. Stay safe, and I'll see you again in my holiday video coming up. Got a good one for that one too. And yeah, alright. I'm out of here. Bye.